Hello, West Ham Network. It's Holly and I'm here with your Hammers headlines for today, Wednesday, the 2nd of April, run in association with KUMB.com. Now, today we are going to be chatting about the reason behind Kudus' absence against Wolves, Potts' future, and making a profit on Todibo. So without further ado, let's get started. Yes, so for your first story, the reason for Kudus' absence has been revealed. People obviously noted that Kudus was dropped for the Wolves game yesterday. He wasn't in the starting lineup, he wasn't on the bench, and we were all wondering why he hadn't made it into either. Now, after the game, Potter came out and he shared the reason. Unfortunately, Kudus is injured. Another injury to add to our list. He said it was difficult. We lost Mo yesterday and Todibo as well. Now, in the West Ham article, it wasn't directly quoted as Potter saying it was to injury, but they put it in those brackets to give context. Obviously, he is injured, but now we know it wasn't a technical decision or an absence due to a difference in opinion or anything like that, but it was in fact due to injury. We really want to stop players getting injured at this point. So we've got a solid starting 11 to work with, and we've got that squad depth that we can start to rely on. We just want players to get game time, don't we? And not having to keep starting afresh coming back from injury. But again, there's not much you can do about injuries, is there? Every single team in the Premier League, and every league, in fact, deals with them. And it's all about how you overcome them and how you work through them. So here's hoping Kudus' injury is a very minor one and that he will be ready to play again in no time. Or should I say, in Mo time. I'm so sorry. I was absolutely dreadful. We're going to have to skip to the next story. I'm embarrassed I even said that. For your second story, last week, Potts signed a deal to stay with West Ham until 2029, and now reports are circulating around whether Potts will stay out on loan or return to East London. So Portsmouth boss John Mousinho is said to have been discussing the potential of bringing him back again next season if they're able to stay in the Championship. But Potter has already confirmed that he wants to take another look at Potts and make a decision after seeing how pre-season with him goes, which I definitely think is the right approach. But let me know what you think down below in those comments. I want to see which players we could have at our disposal and whether they're a benefit for us being at the club and not just automatically sending them out on loan because that's where they've been previously. It's no secret that our biggest issue right now is centre midfield, and Potts is doing really well in that position. But is it too much to ask somebody to do well in the Championship and then step up into a league that is the Premier League and then solve a massive problem that we currently have? It feels like quite a big old challenge. The dream would be, obviously, that Potts ends up being the missing link in our midfield and brings that energy and spices things up after 2 seasons out on loan at Wycombe and Portsmouth without us having to invest a fortune. But is it unfair to put so much responsibility on the 21-year-old? Personally, it concerns me. But the question I've got for you is, should we bring Potts back, or would you be frustrated to see us not invest significantly, even if we do bring him back, regardless this summer? Because for me, I've got to say, I just think it's too much of a risk to throw somebody in at the deep end like that and rely on him fixing all of our issues. First of all, that's a hell of a lot of pressure on somebody stepping up into the Premier League. But also, we've seen how pivotal our midfield needs to be in the way that we're going to play. And if we're literally pinning all of our hopes on somebody that's never played in the Premier League, taking out the fact that he's doing really well and that he is technically a West Ham player, so it's convenient, it feels like a massive risk, and I feel like we still need to invest there. Do I think he's a bright prospect for the future? Absolutely. I think Potts is incredible, but I think we need options and we need experience alongside Potts. And at the moment, we've got very little in that area that's allowing us to progress as a team. So let us know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Should we bring Potts back? And do we need to invest significantly as well as that? Or could he be our answer? And now for your final story, Man United are said to be preparing a second bid for Jean-Claire Todibo this summer. To run through what's happened so far, because it's a little bit of a confusing one. In the summer, Man United wanted to buy Todibo from Nice, but they couldn't because Jim Ratcliffe from Man United is a shareholder in Nice, so it's not allowed. Then we signed Todibo on loan with an obligation to buy for £35 million at the end of the season. with the obligation being very easy to meet the criteria for, including staying up in the Premier League and a minimal number of appearances. So simply put, we're obligated to buy Todibo at the end of the season for 35 million. Now, The Athletic have said that we could have pushed this all a little bit earlier and signed Todibo for 35 million, essentially activating that clause early in January and then immediately selling him on to Man United, who would then be able to purchase the player. Random way to get around it. But yeah, now they're likely to come back in the summer with a second bid because we will own Todibo. It will be a 35 million deal where we have him at West Ham. And Man United are still keen to get his signature. And it looks as though the valuation is somewhere around 45 million. But again, we'll have to see how that plays out. But it looks as though we could make a profit. But the question is, would you like to see Todibo stay? Because if we're going to be playing a back three, he's most likely going to be needed alongside Kilman. We've only really got Cresswell Mavropanos without him coming in. So there already needs to be big investment there. Or do you think we should look to make a profit of probably around 10 million on Todibo and then invest that sum of probably about 45 million elsewhere? Let us know in that comment section. I think the biggest problem that we've got is the whole centre of our lineup seems to have challenges. We need to invest in defence as well as midfield, as well as strikers. So we're in a bit of a difficult situation where we need to find a lot of money from somewhere. Would Todibo be the guy that you say goodbye to? There you have it. Those have been your Hammers headlines for today. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. Like I said, get involved in that comment section. We want to make it as interactive as we can. While things might not be that exciting at West Ham, let's get the chat exciting. So hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already, because it goes a massive way to support the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I just wanted to say thank you to each and every one of you who do watch our videos. I know that at the moment, being a West Ham fan isn't the most riveting thing on planet Earth, but I absolutely love the interactions that we get to have with you guys. So thank you so much for making it a joy every single day, regardless of scorelines. So enjoy that sunshine, enjoy that warmth. It feels like spring is finally springing. I think I've said that twice on the channel, and it turns out spring was not springing, winter was returning. However, I actually think spring is springing now. So enjoy that sunshine. Until next time, have a great day. Come on, you Irons. Irons.